question about if you are illegal in this country. So therefore, if that question, I think it's going to the Supreme Court now to be
Yeah.
answered. So if you say yes, that's suppressing, so people are not going to report if they feel like they may be shut out of the country and stuff.
Yeah, actually, thank you for the point. The proposed question actually is, are you a citizen? And that, whether that question can be included in the census is being litigated.
And it doesn't help if we have money allocated to the state of California when the President Trump decides he wants these emergency actions and take away
here we
that
go.
money.
Oh, my
So that
God.
doesn't help the state either. So we are looking, we are just under attack here everywhere.
Holy crap.
Sir, would you respect her opinion?
I
Just like
can't,
she
no, I don't
respected-
respect her.
I do agree we're under attack.
That isn't an opinion.
Maybe we should just build the rail line
Sir,
down to
you're out of
Mexico and
line.
ship them all up here. You're out of line.
Should I ask one of the officers to
You
escort
can
me
ask
out?
them, but they have no
Well,
duty to
I'm
escort me
asking,
out.
I'm asking you to respect everyone.
This is our house, not your house.
It is not
This
your
is
house.
our house.
Yeah,
This
but
is our house.
exactly, for everyone. Okay.
You know, I'd like
Yes,
to.
sir.
He doesn't want to talk about that. Go ahead.
You've had your say.
No, I haven't.
Mr. Marisucci, thank you for having this meeting. I really appreciate the way you're conducting the meeting,
I'm trying.
and thank you for allowing all the opinions to be voiced. I would like to address one specific issue. It's not a shotgun question. It's
Okay.
focused on one issue, and that is it's really important that we have an enlightened discussion about climate change, global warming. Now, I am one of those scientists, and I had a career in the Air Force, retired as a lieutenant colonel. I built satellites for Hughes Aircraft Company and other companies. I'm retired now. And in the process of doing that, I had to know a lot about the orbits of the planets, orbit of the Earth around the sun, perturbations, also sunspot activities. When you design a satellite, you have to design it for the worst cosmic ray and sunspot conditions. So I have a lot of familiarity with this subject. Now, the study that was improperly quoted to say 97% of climate scientists agree such and such. No, that was taken out of context, and the original authors of that, about 15 years later, agreed in a reinterpretation of their data,
Okay.
which showed that it was actually only about 32%.
Right.
And 32% agree that man has a significant role in affecting the climate change because of added carbon dioxide in the environment.
Okay.
And the rest of the scientists say no, there are many other factors. So let me point out, because of my familiarity, what those factors are. There's two important words that you can look up on Wikipedia. The first one is Maunder minimum. Scientists looked at sunspot activity. There was a period of time centered around 1700, about a 75-year period, where sunspots went from 5,000 per year to about 5 per year during that 75-year period. What happened was it created a mini ice age, and it got significantly cooler in northern Europe and across the globe
When is this?
around 1700.
Okay.
Now, so the average Earth temperature decreased significantly during that period of time. Now, 300 years later, we are recovering from that. So if you just look at the data from the last 150, 200 years, you'll see a slight increase in temperature, approximately 1 degree Celsius per 100 years. But what that represents is a return to normal rather than an alarming crisis. Okay, now that's the first point I'd like to make. The second point is that there are cycles with the Earth's orbit, axis, tilt, and seasons. And there's a 41,000 year cycle, and there's a 100,000 year cycle. And the last million years, we've had 10 ice ages, approximately once every 100,000 years. And right now we're in between ice ages. So what I'm pointing out here is that the climate of the Earth is driven by these factors to about 90%. And when you look at the ice core data taken from the last 600,000 years from Greenland, it points out that there actually is no correlation at all between carbon dioxide levels and temperature. And what that tells us, okay, what that tells us is we don't have a crisis. Carbon dioxide is used by plants through photosynthesis to create food for animals and for us. The Earth needs carbon dioxide. It's not a pollutant. And we have had significant periods within the Earth's history with 10, 20 times more carbon dioxide than we have now.
Okay, so basically,
So
you're
it's
saying
really-
we don't have a climate.
There really
crisis.
isn't a climate crisis at
Okay.
this time.
Okay.
Now, if your policies are driven by that erroneous assumption, you're going to be going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
And you're going to be spending a lot of money
Yes.
for the wrong reasons.
Okay. All right.
So
Which we don't
I
even
think,
have.
you know, if you want to have a fact-based discussion,
Right.
we ought to start with the premise of what are the facts. We can't just look at the last 150 years. The journalists like to look at the last 150 years. But a scientist has to look at what's relevant is the last 1,000 years, the last 100,000 years, the last million years.
Okay.